So normally I'm all about buying American made stuff. But this here oil filter cutter, I think I paid like $26 for it or something like that on eBay. And it's a Chinese wonder. But it's also really kick-ass. So this here is about the largest filter that I deal with. I forget. This is the equivalent of a Zigna SE25, I believe. Zigna, however you're supposed to pronounce it, the hydraulic filter company. But yeah, this is a hydraulic filter off a dump truck that I wanted cut open. And not only is this cutter big enough for it, but there's even a little bit of thread to go a little bit further, and I was curious how this would do, because you can see like the cutter is not very deep, but it's just barely deep enough to cut the top off of one of these hydraulic filters. And thankfully nothing fancy or spectacular going on in there, but so there it is, run down all the way, and you could cut something a fair bit smaller than a brake clean can. But yeah, this is a shockingly and surprisingly good oil filter cutter. Everything on it, everything on it is metal. And it's all screwed together and all billet aluminum. The handle is aluminum. Of course, the bolt is steel. But yeah, it's all screwed together, so if anything happens, presumably you could take it apart and fix it and what have you. The wheel that's on here is the same wheel. Do I have one handy? Yes, I do. The same wheel as a copper tubing cutter, so you can get the wheel just at like a, part store or hardware store or whatever, so no big deal there. I don't know for certain, but I would imagine that these are off-the-shelf generic bearings. And like I said, it was like $26 or something like that on eBay, and it just blows me away how good this thing is. And the fucking quality of it, like, it works just fine, but even the quality of it is really good. Like, honestly, if this was on the Snap-on Tools truck or something, I would bet all day long that this thing would be like $200 or something like that. Which, speaking of which, I was the dumbass that bought the Snap-on billet aluminum tire pressure checker, whatever the fuck. I don't know what the appropriate name would be for that, but yeah, I paid way too damn much for this thing, I'll tell you that much. And that tire gauge is cool, it's just stupidly overpriced. But this here is slightly less quality than that tire gauge, but is, a little less than 1/10 the cost or whatever. But yeah, if you have a need to cut open filters, which in my opinion should be done every time you change a filter, because it gives a good opportunity to get in there and see if there's any kibbles and bits floating around in there. I do like buying American made stuff as much as I can, but at the same time, for less than $30 for this thing here, you really can't go wrong.